Woo, woo, Kenny Woo.
Yes.
There you go, folks. That's how we grew up, and that's how we've finished with childhood stories on last week's podcast, and now we're going to start with childhood memories as we go into it. Cheers, fellas. Let's have a good coffee buzz.
Cheers. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Noel?
What is the most fascinating part of the human body?
I mean, you got a bunch of kids in a candy store right now.
I'll go away from the instinct and I'll say brain.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pete. I like it. We all know what we were thinking. Go ahead.
The senses, the thought processes, the feelings, emotions, the awareness, everything is going through the brain. So that's my vote.
Harvard. I know mine.
The heart.
No, that's a good one, though. I appreciate that you think that's what I was going to say. That's cool.
I like eyes, too.
I'm going to go with the
eyes. Is my answer.
Eyes.
I'm going to go with the gut. Yours is the eyes?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the gut.
The gut?
Yep. So I'm going to go with the gut, and I'll go with the gut because I don't know how recent it is, but we know now that the gut is our second brain. We know that what we eat is what we think. We know that hydration, taking care of it, eating natural stuff, staying away from the chemical stuff, the processed stuff, what that does to the mind and the body. I think the eyes is interesting too. The eyes is the only part of the brain that's outside of the skull. So it's actually a direct indicator to your thoughts and the way that you think is your vision. But with your gut, if you eat a fat, full pizza or some processed food, you start to mouth breathe. So I think that's interesting too. Processed food creates mouth breathing, which what do we do to mouth breathers, Pete?
Tell them to breathe through their nose?
Yeah, we put them down.
we coach them?
We put them down.
We coach them.
So I'm going to go with the gut. Gut is the most fascinating thing to me of the body.
It's a great answer. Can you say top 3 foods that you should eat for your brain?
For your brain?
In your opinion?
In my
Based
opinion?
on what you've read?
Blueberries.
I ate blueberries today. Nice.
Avocado. And I just immediate right now is Pete's got me all on the fish. He's got me just overloaded on the fish oils and the fish in the cod and the salmon. So right now in the moment that.
Sure.
And almonds are top notch.
High fat foods.
Yeah, high fat.
Brain's made of fat.
Yep. The brain is a fascinating deal.
So I'm going to go with the eyes for a lot of reasons.
There you go.
And I'll just start it off with a little quote by, if anyone's seen the movie Christopher Robin, I don't know if you've seen that, Nolan, but it's the modern day version of Winnie the Pooh, right? And in Winnie the Pooh, the kid gets older and older and older, and he's a man. Mm-hmm. And he comes back and he sees Winnie the Pooh. And Winnie the Pooh right away says, Christopher Robin? He goes, how did you recognize me? I've changed so much. He said, your eyes haven't changed. And I thought that was really cool because he looks at him and he goes right to him like, I know exactly who you are. I know where you've been. I know what you think. I know what you feel when you're around me. And when you look at people's eyes, like, you ever been talking to someone that got shifty eyes?
Yeah.
Don't trust that guy, right? You ever met someone who says something and they're kind of looking off into the distance while they tell you and they're being bashful about it? You're not bought in. Like, you can tell from people's eyes if they're genuine, who they are, what they want, what they feel. All of those things come through the eyes. And that's why people say have great eye contact. But then nobody wants to do it. Why does no one want to do it? Because they know the truth is in their eyes. So that's scary. People don't like showing the truth.
Why is it so hard, even if so if you are telling the truth, why is it so difficult to really give good eye contact? Or, second question to that, do you think that when you recognize that you're so into just thinking about eye contact, does it become tough?
If you're thinking about it, it does. But I think when you're telling the truth, mm-hmm. and you're looking at, like, I'm looking at Harvey's eyes right now.
I'm very aware of staring at you in your eyes.
I am too, right? But I know you well enough where I'm comfortable saying what I'm saying, and you know that it's the truth. Mm-hmm. But if I'm around someone that I don't know that well, I could even know them pretty good, and I'm telling the truth. Telling the truth is scary, right? Because now I'm vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Now I'm admitting something about myself that I believe in, and you could crap all over it. Right. You could tell me I'm wrong. And you're going to know the moment that I say it that I'm being genuine or if I'm not telling the truth. Right. And that's scary, right? It's scary to tell the truth. It's incredibly scary. And I understand why it is. And I would just tell people that if you tell the truth, you never have to think about what you've said, whether it's good or bad.
Great advice.
Tell the truth.
Well, and the eyes is interesting too. Like when people are thinking, how they look up. You know, they're kind of looking up to think about the brain. And so I'm looking up, I'm thinking, yeah, I did that, you know, or you're thinking about, you know, you look to side has a lot to do with lying. Looking down is a sign of, you know, weakness.
Yeah.
You know, looking down, I'm nervous, I'm insecure. So I think that's interesting about the eyes too, is what that does.
Eyes, brain, gut.
There we go.
The big three.
Do you have any brain power, or are you just
Not
brain?
on that, no. I'm just thinking, what was it, Scarface? The eyes never lie, Chico.
100%.
Powerful. Good answer. And we touched on the heart too. So we hit all the bots.
We love the heart.
Yeah.
Good start, Noel.
What's something you know you do differently than most people? What
is something you know you do differently than most people? That's a great question too, because you can think of. Well, I'm gonna tailor it towards the table here. Do you think there's anything you do differently that you think you do differently, but everyone else does it too?
So like maybe an insecurity?
Yeah, like something you do at home that you just think that you just do that, and you kind of like, oh, I'm kind of weird. But maybe the rest of the world does it too.
That's a laundry list.
Well, I got to go up for that one because I bet you guys used to do this too, because you probably fancy yourself a hero, right? You probably think in a tough situation. It sucks to talk about, but school, like shootings when I was in high school, was like a big thing. Like they were like going on, or they were making us super aware of it. So I would sit in class and like be like, okay, they're probably going to come from there. I'll swoop around the side, boom, right to the side of the head. He'll go out the window. We'll all get out this way. I used to visualize that. I got to think that a bunch of people did that. I felt bad about it.
I still do it.
There you go. Thank God.
I do it like in airports with terrorist attacks in my back of my mind. Like,
so do I.
He's gonna scream something. He's gonna have his finger on the trigger, and I gotta kick it out of his hand, or I gotta break his arm or something.
You look at some guy's eyes in the airport, and you say, I don't like this guy.
No, not you.
So
not you, Chico.
Yeah, my big one was that same scenario, and back in middle school, strongly back in middle school days, and I used to always be banged up a little bit while I was envisioning it. Like I envisioned myself being a little banged up, a little beat up already, you know, but just kind of, I got it.
Bill Buckner out there.
Yeah, like I was already getting patched up, you know, by the hot chicks in 8th grade, and then I said, "Girls, stay in, get me out there, get me out there." You know, it didn't really matter. I was just gonna Rambo this thing, just hang in there. So I don't know if that really answered the question.
No,
that was a fun part of it.
That was really fun. Can you say it again, though?
Yeah, what's something you know you do differently than most people?
Okay, I talk about this a lot with people, and in coaching, I try to talk about this a lot, is I don't think a lot of people have the ability to remove themselves from their own emotions and thoughts and hear what other people are saying and, like, relate to that side of their story. So even if you're saying a professional athlete and people say, oh, I can't believe that they would request that or want that. It's like, well, I could 100% see why they would like that.
Right.
I'm really good at removing myself and putting myself in other people's shoes, and that helps me make emotional decisions unemotional. Does that make sense? That's a skill that I think that I have that a lot of people don't.
I would agree with that.
It's a good skill. Do you ever think that only you're living and everything else around you is just projections of your story?
No, I've never thought that.
You ever thought that?
Literally not once.
No, have you ever thought that?
Not to that extent, no.
I used to think I was on the Truman Show.
That's
as close as I can give it to you.
Yeah.
What do you mean projections?
So like is
everything a simulation? Is
is
that
everything
the rabbit hole we're going down?
Yeah, like is Steve and you and Nolan, like, are you guys only projections of things that are supposed to help me get to my like peakness? Like, am I around Steve only, like, is Steve supposed to be like that to help me figure out how I can be a better me? And then, like, you serve a purpose in that area, and then you serve a different purpose. And
Well, I sure hope not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you're telling us we're role players in the Harvey Martin
I'm
story.
just saying, I don't know. It's a fun thing to think about. You know, I've thought about it.
I like the simulation aspect of that. I guess that perspective on life, that all this could just be a computer simulation, and we're just playing a part in the story.
It's the Matrix, dude.
The whole Matrix is a whole nother story too.
Yeah,
but
You guys are weird, man.
well, we do things different.
But it's great.
I love that. I love that.
But
It's fun to hear.
If you start talking about your knowledge and your faith and everything, like everything we know is based on some version of faith. just the simplest thing in the world. Is this a table? Like, are you breathing? Are you? How do you know? Like, this is just what people have filtered down to you for years and years and years.
They've just considered it breathing.
Yeah. So it's just, you don't know anything.
You don't know anything.
I know one thing. I wasn't put here to help you two. I'll tell you that.
I didn't say that.
You were kind of in there with
Yeah.
them. I felt like I was on an island a little bit there.
He's in there. Okay, what was yours, Pete? What do you do differently?
The initial, what was the first tangent we went off on? The school shooting superhero scenario.
That was Mart saying, what do you think you're like weird for thinking, but everyone else probably thinks. Nolan's question was, what do you think you do that other people don't?
I do a lot of weird things personally, but the first thing that came to my mind is your boy DJ Reader stopped by the house unannounced one day.
Yeah.
And I'm in there, I'm doing dishes or something, and so one of my things I do, I like for background noise and stuff sometimes, and I also enjoy watching our YouTube videos of battle raps. So like I enjoyed like the I guess the creativity of the wordplay and that kind of thing. And 8 Mile happened at a very, very big time in my life, and I bought in.
Yeah,
so that's my weird thing.
Is it you watch battle raps?
Battle raps.
Do you rap while watching battle raps?
No, I don't.
Do you rap in your car to rap songs?
Yes.
Do you make your own words up to those rap songs?
No.
Start doing that.
Is that something you've played with?
I've done that a little bit. Yeah, I do that to Wiz Khalifa a lot.
Nice.
The one thing that I do that I think is a little bit different, but I know a lot of people do this. I think it's just I get grief from you guys a lot on it, but I actively go to eat on my own. I actively go on dinners on my own and breakfasts on my own and go to restaurants and get a full meal.
I enjoy that. Thoroughly
Do you do
enjoy
that a
it.
lot?
Yeah.
Well, we ran out of time. But yeah, I know that I know Tone. He gives me some crap about that.
That's good. I think it's a great thing to do.
Yeah, I like doing that on my own.
And I think it's unique.
Yeah,
I think people do it, but I don't think a lot of people do it by choice actively.
Yeah, I do it. I did it today, twice actually, breakfast and lunch.
Twice?
Yeah. Ooh. Well, no one was around. No one was around during lunch. Everyone was out golfing.
Some people call it a problem.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Seriously.
What can you do today that you were not capable of? Sorry. What can you do today that you were not capable of doing a year ago? Yeah.
What are you capable of doing today that you were not capable of doing a year ago?
Yeah.
Sit on my couch. Thank God Tony's out of there.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
I'm looking at Tony for everyone at home.
Can
He's
hop on a
giving me a good
podcast.
look.
Can hop on a coffee buzz. I couldn't do that a year ago.
For a bill,
MindStrong right now, baby.
Yeah, because you're here all the time.
Yep.
That's sweet.
Very,
Yeah, you couldn't,
very
huh?
cool. And I can pull people from my own life into the network, to the podcast. That's something very cool.
Oh, wow.
And have great conversations about it. People that we've had on the podcast already. It's just another facet of learning people. And something that I loved about it is when we podcasted some of the Texans guys when we were down in Houston, and just learning about my teammates. And like you have these perceptions, and you see these people every day, and you assume that since everybody's going in the same direction, everybody has the same goal to win football games, excel, make money, whatever you're there for. That you assume they have a similar reasoning to you for like their purpose, their diamond series, and that kind of thing. And to be completely blown away by how people view their day-to-day life and view their purpose and view their systems and their why was one of the best experiences I had as a teammate, just having the opportunity to have the conversations, and this podcast made that happen.
Yeah, you kind of know at that level that people have like really cool stories. Yeah, you know that your teammates have really cool stories, but so I always tell people the podcast is an awesome. It's like an awesome buffer to talk to people. It's like a really cool thing. Like think of all the people we've had on the podcast or going to have on the podcast. They're not actively going to talk to us just to talk to us, but we have a podcast, so we get this ability to have a podcast to speak with people. I mean, I always tell people what we do is it's a free PhD. Like you just you have a platform, you get to talk to some of the most influential, coolest, smartest people in the world, and then the podcast is like a common ground to just easily, comfortably ask to have conversations with people.
But these conversations pull so much cool little nuggets and information, and I like the phrasing that you use sometimes where we get to absorb an entire person's life in a book or the lessons of their life in a podcast, and it's a cheat sheet to life. You learn these incredible things. So I'm reading Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl right now.
Awesome book.
And you're taking one of the most extreme human experiences and condensing it into a book and trying to just reading it is unbelievable. So I just think the podcast game and the books and everything is an incredible platform to learn and grow.
It's awesome. To that point, reading is cheating. People live their whole life on failures and write a book about the only successes they had and how to do it. All you have to do is read that in a week instead of live it for 60 years. It's awesome. That's good stuff. I kind of forgot what my answer is going to be. I apologize. I think I'm going to go. One thing I do know that I can do now that I couldn't do a year ago is much better.
30 push-ups?
I'm in shape, dude. I've been working really hard. You've seen me.
I know, I saw you.
I was doing good the other day on the pull-ups and push-ups. I'll stay that realm. I used to not do well at all in the sauna. I can do 20 minutes. Not easy. I'm almost there. I can do 20 minutes pretty good. I know I can get 20 done in a 200-degree sauna. And I know I can do that now. I couldn't do that a year ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that thing is tough too to do that for 20 minutes. I did.
Now put me down.
Oh boy, it's you. If you're not conditioned for it, it's tough.
Last time we saw it, I had to have you talk me through it.
It's tough, man.
With Bateman.
Oh yeah, I was in there
you
too.
Were there,
yeah.
Pete. Yeah, oh yeah.
It's tough. 20 minutes, and then we do the cold, and then we go back in. I did 20 cold, 15 cold, 10.
Steve-O, have you ever done the full sauna ice circuits? Full up to your neck with the sauna?
No.
Dude, you are going to love it. It's a baptism. It's awesome.
It's amazing.
One thing I am good at is being a part of a team.
Yeah.
So
you'll hang in
I
there.
would never be able to do it with one other person, but if there's 4 or 5 people there, I'd do it. I'd go all in. I'd make fun of it, but that's just purely out of fear.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be making fun of it to make myself feel better. Everyone would know why I was doing it too.
Final answer, I can ski. I couldn't ski a year.
There you go.
Very nice.
There we go. Next
ski.
one.
Well, do I get to say something I'm good at?
I want to hear about Steve-O.
Oh, I thought you had yours.
No. I'd like to go.
Well, I'm just looking at the clock. We've been lengthy today.
Okay, I'll keep it short.
We'll asterisk this one.
I'll keep it real short. I've talked to Nolan about this a lot. In the last year, I've become incredibly good at being by myself. Not going out to eat necessarily by myself, but I, to a fault, always wanted to be around people. And since I've gotten good at it, it's not like I seek out being by myself, but I enjoy being by myself. And that has actually made me be a million times more enjoyable to be around when I'm with people. Because I think they like their time more with me because I'm excited to see everyone when I see them. Where before it was just too much. It was just too overload of me being around people. And now I think I'm a better person because I've learned how to be happy on my own.
Burning the wick at both ends. You're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I was burning it way too hard. I was getting borderline close to getting burnt out there for about a year and a half. And learning how to be on my own and actually, Harv and I like watch people a lot. Nolan, he's an odd bird, right? And I used to look at Nolan and be like, what is this kid's deal? And then I just realized he's just hanging out, man. You know what I mean, though? It's hard to just, be hanging out. He's just hanging out. He's soaking it in. He is where he is. And that's an actual skill. A lot of people say, I am where I am, be where your feet are. But to actually accept
you gotta work on that.
That's
too.
a whole nother thing to actually do
that.
it. You do have to work on it.
It's hard.
I think that if anyone's listening and you have trouble being on your own, dive into it. Dive into it. Don't seek to be on your own, but when you're on your own, enjoy that time with yourself.
Well said. Well said.
How old would you be if you didn't know how old you are?
46.
That's tough. I mean, I'd be 30. I just feel like I know I'd be 30.
Really?
Yeah.
26, 27.
Really? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I just feel like I know I'd be 30.
Why?
Well, the system has been programmed for me to feel like I'm 30.
Can I in this scenario, does nobody know how old they are?
Yeah, just how old do you feel?
Yeah, nobody's. So you don't know that when you graduate high school, you're 18.
No.
Like you just You're just living your life.
Like if you had amnesia right now and you woke up, how would you feel?
Yep.
Oh, so I had an oblique strain this morning, which we're hoping doesn't set me back. I've been stretching it and moving around a little bit today, but I think I'm in better shape now than I was a few years ago. Yeah, so I feel younger now than I did a couple years ago.
I just say comparable to some of my teammates and that kind of thing. I hear these kids like the first, second, third year out of school complain about their body, like, oh, it hurts to get up, my back, my knees, whatever. And I have not had that issue. I don't know if it's from learning how to take care of my body or eat right, whatever it's been, but like I've always bodily wise felt better than people in the morning, like been able to perform better in certain scenarios. So
when you get down to the nitty gritty, why do you think that is? Besides just saying like, oh, I take care of myself, like what is it? Like what would you, if there was one thing that you were like, this is really why at the end of the day, besides being incredibly committed to being that, what's the one thing that you're like, if I don't do this, like I'm done?
It's food. It's what I put in my mouth, man, dude. It's everything from and I don't take a lot of supplements. I take the right supplements. So in that little equation, as long as like my fats are high and my diet's clean and I got my aminos in me, like I'm good to go.
Sleep.
Yeah, sleep and everything is all part of my routine, and those routines have reinforced this feeling. But until I hurt my ankle this past season, I had like waking up, I had no problem getting up, moving. Like I could pop out of bed, and that's why I still say I feel that age.
And that's one thing I love about this group. And sometimes I feel bad for Pete, but boy, do we hammer him with questions.
Oh yeah,
what's that? What should I eat tonight? I texted Pete the other day, top 5 things I should buy at the grocery store. Go. He answered me in less than 25 seconds, and I bought all 5 of those things in bundles, in absolute bundles.
In bulk.
Yeah, I just listen to whatever he says. He could tell me to jump on one foot and rub my head, and I'd say, ankle mobility drill there, Pete.
I had a whole Gretzky. I told Gretzky the other night, I said, no, carbs. Pete said I'm not allowed to have carbs after 8. No carbs. I don't even know. It just feels like I don't need a blood test. I'll just ask Pete.
Yeah, he knows. But that's out of respect, right?
It's trial and error, and I've learned what works for me. And then when you kind of try different things and the doctors explain it to you, I've gone to multiple doctors. I've gone doctors that do pills. I have doctors that do IVs. I have doctors that say only diet, no supplements, and you just kind of learn and pick and choose. And then like you go by feel, and like after a while, you figure out it's not rocket surgery.
That's yeah.
A lot of things in life aren't rocket surgery. Getting at it, like getting in shape, eating right, all that kind of stuff. Like the decisions are pretty cut and dry.
It's interesting because I do think you can get all the nutritional stuff. You can get everything you want, but as you get older, you do just learn, like, what do I need? Like, you already know if you want to make all those choices, you know exactly what tomorrow is going to feel like.
Yeah.
You know exactly what 2 days is going to feel like. You know what mentally you'll feel like. You know physically what you'll feel like. You know what you'll do. You already, like, know that, and I think it becomes decreasing that over time. You know, because if you want to know, I was talking to a nutritionist a couple weeks ago, and we were having a good conversation. This wasn't a bad thing. You know how I'll poke the bear every now and then, but I was like, well, why would you like, if you really think about it, nutritionist doesn't even need to be a job. All that we would have to do is tell the world to eat what grows in the ground and eat natural food. Just eat what is extremely natural, and then you should try your most natural plant-based grass-fed meat, whatever it is, you should eat it. And then if your body doesn't, if you wake up a little sluggish from that meal and I don't, then I should eat that meal more than you should eat that meal. And you should figure it out.
Somebody said this the other, we did one podcast with somebody. I think it was Scott Carney. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how he had a certain type of alcohol that even if he had like this much of it, he felt terrible the next day. And so I actually started like paying attention to that. And I did figure out some things that if I drink, like, having a little nightcap, even just a nightcap will ruin me for the next day. It was crazy to see.
What is it, though?
What is it?
Can you have whiskey and wake up okay?
I can have whiskey. I can't have vodka.
See, IPAs, I have 3 IPAs. I got a massive headache the next
Really?
day. I feel slow, and I love IPAs. I love them during the IPAs. I love them during the IPA session.
Well, for me, it's sleep.
Yeah, well,
Like,
that
I
ruins the
don't
sleep.
play with sleep.
Right.
Like 4th
You
of July,
can't, you
we went
can't.
down. You know, a lot of people stayed in tents. That's just a hard no for me at this point in my life. I'm
Yeah.
going back home. I missed out with the boys in Stillwater. It's just a no for me. I can't make it down there. I got to get my sleep. I'm serious. It's just like, and I think that that's been a direct correlation to doing all of these things and doing podcasts and talking to people who have researched this stuff. Is it goes back to the other thing about being alone. No matter what everybody says on this or what anyone listens to, you have to implement it. You have to do it.
It's crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
there's all these cheat codes out there, and everyone sees all these things, and they go, oh, well, yeah, that's easier said than done. Well, of course. Yeah. It's super hard to go to bed on time.
It is.
It's hard to say no to your friends.
very hard.
But do it. Either do it or don't do it, and don't complain about not feeling good the next day.
Yeah.
It's a frustration of mine. I have a real issue with it.
Well, and
it's a
you're-
real problem.
You're a real problem.
You're a real
Yeah,
problem.
I struggle with self-pity, like just listening, like because there's different variations of it.
Talking about this earlier.
Yeah, but just self-pity is just like if you're not doing everything in your power to change your situation, or at least have a heavy focus on improving yourself in that category, if you're not asking questions to learn about it and how to get better at it, don't complain to me. I have zero tolerance for self-pity.
It's crazy how complaining even begins. Like, it's such a false conversation. It's like, it's completely false. People will talk to you, they'll complain and bring self-pity, and then the entire thing is just all they're looking for out of the complaining is for you to validate their BS. It's like, hey, if I can get you to emotionally break during my self-pityness, maybe you'll validate me. And then I can at least go, well, see, It's crazy. I mean, there's things that you just have to get better at. Like,
But-
I'd struggle with night routines, but I'm great at morning routines. I mean, I'm nails in the morning. But at night, I get super excited about stuff. You know this.
I do that too.
Yeah,
It
I get
sucks.
super excited. If I read a book and I get too excited, I can't sleep. Sometimes I'll get locked into reading research articles or watching YouTube videos. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Or I get so excited to hang out with my buddies. I mean, we have for people who know us, our group likes to hang out, and
We have some fun.
And we do. We hang out. We have a blast. We have dinners pretty much every night of the week together, so that sometimes you get into good long conversations, and you look at the clock and you're like, shoot, I just stayed up too late, But then you got to weather that, and you just got to make sure you're dialed in at other areas of your life to be able to balance yourself. But you can't have the complaining.
No, but
We're done with it.
I just think it should be if you can take anything from this last part of the conversation, when you do have those self-complaints and the negative thoughts in your mind, that needs to trigger you to do something about it, not get that what do they call that, tornado of feelings.
Spiral effect. You got to get to the root. Get to the root.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
yeah.
Get to the root,
Address it.
pull the root, the weed is gone.
Yeah. And if you pull out like carrots, natural carrots, or, sweet potatoes, eat them.
Cheers.
Boys.